The past is a collection of memories, but it doesn't have to dictate who we are now. Even though the past lingers, it's our present choices that define the future. When we're faced with the past, it's easy to forget that we still have the power to rewrite our story. Sometimes, the hardest part isn't letting go of the past, but accepting that it will always be a part of us. The past doesn't disappear, it transforms into the wisdom we carry with us, even when it feels heavy. Every time the past resurfaces, it's a reminder that healing is not linear, it's a journey. When you feel the past knocking, remember that you've already walked away from it, even if it doesn't know that yet. The past may call, but it's the present that answers with new possibilities. I thought I was free from the past, but sometimes it has a way of finding me in the quiet moments. The past is a puzzle piece of who we've been, but it doesn't have to be the only piece that fits. Our memories shape us, but they don't have to bind us to a version of ourselves that no longer exists. The hardest part of healing is not forgetting the past, but learning how to live beyond it. We carry our past like a suitcase. We can't leave it behind, but we can choose what to pack inside it. It's strange how the past can feel so far behind, yet it still reaches out to us with every word spoken. Sometimes it feels like the past is a conversation we never finished, yet we're still trying to move on. The past has a voice, but it's up to us whether we listen to its whispers or choose silence instead. We all carry pieces of the past within us, but we don't have to let those pieces define who we are today. The past is like a tide that pulls us back, but the present is the anchor that keeps us grounded. Even though the past tries to claim its place, the present offers us a space to grow into who we're meant to be. Sometimes, the past feels like a story we didn't get to finish, and now we're writing our own endings. When we let go of the past, it doesn't mean forgetting. It means choosing to live beyond it. The past doesn't disappear, but we can learn to let it sit quietly while we move forward. The past is not our prison unless we let it hold us captive with its unanswered questions. We can't change the past, but we can create a future that honors the lessons we've learned along the way. Every time I hear a familiar voice from the past, I'm reminded of how much I've outgrown that chapter. We carry the weight of the past until we realize that we have the power to put it down and walk freely. The past whispers softly, but it's our present actions that echo the loudest. Sometimes, the hardest part isn't facing the past, but realizing it no longer holds the same power it once did. The past is a distant memory, yet it still calls to us in ways we don't expect. Even though we can't undo the past, we have the ability to shape how we let it influence our today. The past might try to reach out, but it's the present that holds the key to moving forward. You can never outrun your memories, but you can control how much space they take up in your life. When we let go of the past, we're not forgetting, we're making room for new experiences. The past doesn't define us, but it sure can shape how we respond to the present. There are moments when the past feels like it's following us, but we still have the power to lead ourselves forward. The past might hold the scars, but it's the present that gives us the chance to heal. Sometimes it feels like the past never really leaves, but it's the present that allows us to create something new. The past is a reflection of who we were, but the present is a declaration of who we choose to become. As the past echoes in our minds, the future whispers the promise of what could be. We all have pieces of the past that we carry, but we can choose which ones to hold and which to let go of. The past may feel like an anchor, but the present offers the wind that can set us free. No matter how loud the past calls, we have the ability to turn toward the present and create new possibilities. Sometimes the hardest part is not erasing the past, but learning how to live in spite of it. The past is a chapter in our story, but the next chapter is still waiting to be written. Every time we move forward, we break the chains that the past tried to bind us with. The past is like a mirror. We can look at it, but we don't have to let it control how we see ourselves. The past holds lessons, but it doesn't have to hold us back from living the life we want to lead. When we let go of the past, we make room for a future that's full of hope and possibility. Even though the past lingers, it's the present that determines how we rise above it. Sometimes the past feels like a shadow we can't escape, no matter how hard we try to move forward. Our past doesn't define us, but it sure has a way of reminding us of who we used to be. I thought I left the past behind, but it seems it's always just a call away. The echoes of old memories can haunt even the most peaceful moments of today. Every phone call from the past feels like a tug on a thread I thought was long unraveled. Is it possible to move forward when the past insists on calling you back? The past is a place we sometimes visit without even realizing how much it still affects us. Sometimes the people we love can be the hardest reminders of where we've been. It's funny how time can heal, but the past still has a way of knocking at your door. When the past keeps knocking, you have to decide whether to open the door or leave it shut. There are times when the past feels like a heavy weight, and every conversation only makes it heavier. Can we ever really outrun the ghosts of our past, or are they forever a part of us? I wish the past would stay where it belongs, but it seems it has a way of finding its way into the present. No matter how far you run, the past always seems to catch up with you in the form of a simple phone call. I thought I had closed that chapter, but it looks like my dad keeps reopening the pages. Sometimes the past feels like a broken record, repeating over and over, no matter how much we try to move forward. The more we try to forget, the louder the past calls out to us. When the past keeps calling, it's not always easy to tell whether it's a reminder or a warning. The past can be a silent visitor, showing up in ways we least expect. Some people can't let go of the past because it's all they know, even if it hurts. We can run from our past, but it seems to always find a way to remind us of who we were. The more time that passes, the more I realize that the past never truly leaves us. There's something bittersweet about looking back on the past, especially when the present feels so different. Sometimes it's not the past that hurts us, but the people who refuse to let it go. Our past may shape us, but it's the choices we make in the present that define who we truly are. The past can be a mirror, showing us how far we've come or how much we've changed. Is it possible to move forward when the echoes of your past are so loud? The past may never truly disappear, but we have the power to choose how it affects us. Every time the past calls, I'm reminded of how much I've outgrown those old versions of myself. The past can be a teacher, but it can also be a prison if we let it control our present. When you're constantly reminded of your past, it can be hard to find peace in the present. The past can hold us captive in ways we don't always realize until it's too late. Every time my dad calls, I can't help but wonder if he's trying to reconnect with a version of me that no longer exists. Sometimes the people who love us the most can unintentionally keep us tied to a past we're trying to escape. There's no escaping the past, but we can learn to live with it in a way that doesn't hold us back. The past might shape who we were, but it's the present that shapes who we are becoming. The past may hold our memories, but it's the present that holds our future. The weight of the past can be unbearable when others keep trying to bring it back into the light. Is it ever possible to move forward when the people we love refuse to let the past fade away? The past doesn't disappear. It transforms into the stories we tell ourselves about who we are. There are days when the past feels like a distant memory, and others when it feels like it happened just yesterday. Every call from the past feels like an invitation to revisit old wounds, even when I've healed. The past has a funny way of sneaking back in when you least expect it. The past is like a puzzle. Sometimes we spend too much time trying to figure it out instead of moving on. There's a freedom in letting go of the past, but sometimes it's hard to let go when it keeps calling you back. The past is always a part of us, but it doesn't have to define who we are today. Sometimes moving forward means accepting the past, not erasing it. The past is a chapter in our story, but it's not the whole book. When the past comes calling, it's up to us whether we choose to answer. The past can be painful, but it also teaches us valuable lessons about who we've become. No matter how much we try to bury the past, it always finds a way to resurface. The past is like a mirror. It shows us who we once were, but it doesn't define who we are now. Even when the past feels like it's constantly calling, we still have the power to choose our path forward.